We are live, and I have just a gut feeling that this is gonna be this is not going to be the most this is not going to be the most watched wrestling live stream on YouTube tonight.
Probably
not. No, not tonight, especially not tonight, but. Yeah, let's get right to it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, and I am joined once again by Jedi Jason Kruger, and in person this week. Woo! You know, not through the magic of computers. He's actually here, and I feel better. He feels better. Everything is better now.
That's right. Still cold.
Maybe. But anyway, if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. Jedi and I have been watching wrestling together for damn near 15 years. We love wrestling. We love talking about wrestling with each other, and especially you, the viewers and other passionate wrestling fans. However, Jedi and myself are just like you. We're just fans. We're not insiders. We're not in the wrestling business. We try our best not to use insider wrestling terms because we're not actually in the business. At the end of the day, our opinion carries no more weight than you guys. Because we are just two marks. And, yeah. What a week it was in the world of wrestling. And, we'll be getting to some, the biggest news that, occurred literally a couple hours ago, a little bit later on in this here broadcast. But first, we're going to talk about the weekend review for Raw. And Jedi, I feel like you got that one this time, so I'll just kind of toss it to you.
All right. So Raw happened.
Raw happened.
Yeah.
The end. No, it wasn't that bad this week.
No. But they started off with the most interesting thing. So Becky came out, and Stephanie came out, and then Stephanie said, "Hey, you ever hurt me? You should really go get that checked out, or I'm suspending you." And Becky said, "Yeah, I don't think so." And then she said, "I'm suspending you." And then Becky beat her up, and the world was happy-ish.
Then Ronnie came out.
Yeah,
in backstage form.
And then Ronda came out, and she decided to beat the Riot Squad because everybody likes to beat the Riot Squad. So she did, one at a time. This time. That's about all I got to say on that.
Yeah,
Ruby Riot said, "No, I'm not fighting you right now." I mean, I would like to see Ruby Riot fight her with the other two constantly interfering. That'd be fun.
Well, see, this week it's I kind of have a mixed feelings.
Okay.
On that whole, you gotta go get checked out or you'll be suspended thing. It's kind of, and again, it's been done before. I mean, this is literally what happened in the fall of '97 after Owen Hart hit the pile driver on Stone Cold, and the fans eventually started to turn on, authoritative figures, who originally were just just saying like, hey, you can't wrestle, you got a hurt neck, we want you to be okay. But
that makes sense.
It's you, right? And then they kind of turned on because they're like, no, you're making Stone Cold forfeit the Intercontinental title, and now it's kind of like they've become self-aware on it, and I like it a little bit, because now, very similar to Stone Cold. I mean, like that's the same. Becky Lynch has kind of been the female Stone Cold, and I'm not saying that like to discredit anything she's done. By any stretch of the imagination, she's turned a lot of this whole everything she's been doing, she's turned it into hers. So I'm not claiming that she's...
Yeah, she's not blatantly copying.
She's not blatantly copying, you know. I'm not trying to make any unfair comparisons. Becky's done this all on her own. She deserves to be in a class all her own. But, you know, now she hasn't heard Nina, like, we're going to suspend you if you don't get that checked out, and all this, that, and the other thing going on. And it's really, on one hand, I like it because it's worked before, it's getting reactions now, it's decent. But on the flip side of things, it's kind of like, yes, this was almost 22 years ago, but it's like, you are essentially recycling the storyline.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel. Like it's a mixed bag of emotions. As long as they don't fucking do a bait and switch, and that's not an insider term. That's a business term. As long as they don't do a bait and switch and go like, "Oh, Becky's not there no more. She's wrestling Stephanie." I think it'll be.
I don't think it'll be.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Never put anything past the WWE. Easy, we will talk about that here momentarily. But we gotta get through the WWE first, and we're gonna start with the second best. Well, I mean, it's a sacrilege to say that, but it's the second most intriguing thing this week after what we just witnessed, and that's the man. But we'll be talking more about the man later.
So it works for now because they don't know what to do with her between now and WrestleMania. They're just trying to write her off, kind of ish.
Probably, and from what I've read and seen, her injury is it's
legit.
It's a storyline.
Oh, I thought so.
I mean,
yeah.
As great as the man is, she's not about making.
When Nia attacked her at the Royal
Yeah.
Rumble,
Well, I mean,
I didn't buy
she
that.
she was, you know, kind of favoring one leg and then favored the other that I didn't pick up on until Botchamania.
I didn't either.
Shout out to Botchamania.
I didn't either. I just automatically was like, no, that's not legit. I don't know. I'm cynical like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can talk about it last week.
Eric, we have to. It's a flow. Flow.
Yes, because we have such a flowing formula.
We have such a flowing, tried and true formula. That's why there's all two of you watching this right now.
That's right.
And one of them is me keeping up with it. I'm just gonna flex for no reason now.
Well, there you go.
Because I just did the wrestler point, now time for the wrestler flex. You ever notice that, like, in all these, like, old, like, wrestler, like, promo shots? They're either pointing or they're flexing.
Yeah.
So.
Or yelling.
Really. Or like this, ha! So, for my promotional shot, I want this. Ha!
There you go. There you go. Man, in the 80s, you'd have been over like Rover. I don't even know what that means, but...
This Rover fella was fucking over as fuck, though. Alright, let's get on with it, because we gotta get to the, as Eric said, we got some important stuff we gotta get to.
Alright, the Revival won a match, so competitors again. And Heavy Machinery is in it, because, you know, these main roster call-ups are still floating around in the
Heavy Machinery.
Yeah, Heavy Machinery. Hey, it could be worse. We'll talk about EC3 in a minute.
Yes, we'll get to that, yes.
Kurt Angle came out and started to make a speech about something, and then McIntyre and Baron Corbin attacked him.
So we have team yay and nay, as I want to call them, because I like Drew McIntyre. Baron Corbin, if he gets released, I hope AEW doesn't even pursue him.
You know, they could always use backstage workers or something.
You know, they could always use somebody to lose to, you know, Hangman every night.
Maybe I'll go to New Japan and figure something out.
Go
he wouldn't be the first
fuck
human.
Yourself. Oh, yeah, he wouldn't be the first one to figure something out on there, but you You go back to your whore home on Whore Island, implying that Baron Corbin needs to be anywhere near that promotion.
There have been a lot of people that were lame in WWE that went over there and flourished.
That's true.
So,
that is true.
I mean, if you can't make it over there, it's time to give it up. Go back to the indie circuit, like the podunk indie circuit, because, you can always make money there.
Yeah. All right, let's keep
local promotions. Anyway,
let's keep moving forward so we can get to the good stuff. I'm giddy, Jedi. I'm giddy.
All right. Banks and Bailey qualified for the Elimination Chamber. Alicia Fox and Nikki Cross were a team because they both crazy.
The Fox Cross connection. Does that mean that Nikki Cross is going to be on fucking Raw?
No, they're both still floating. Heavy Machinery was in tag team contender matches on both shows in consecutive weeks.
That's true.
They haven't decided yet. I don't think they are until after Mania.
What fucking decision is there to make?
They don't know what they're doing right
now. What fucking decision? Oh, hey!
Why did they bring them
Sanity's on SmackDown!
Right?
Jimmy,
Asuka needs a contender right now?
Yes!
Because everybody on SmackDown that is a contender is more worried about Ronda?
I mean, like, I'm a little more animated this week, but... Yeah. The fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's simple logic. It is simple fucking logic. Sanity, package deal, SmackDown, Nikki Cross, SmackDown. You can just have that one, WWE. You don't need to pay me anything. You don't got to give me a discount off my network. You can just keep that one. You just keep that one for free. Okay, you can upgrade my WrestleMania ticket if you'd like. Let's continue.
Jeff Jarrett is still wrestling in the WWE ring.
You know what? No. I like this match. The haters can suck it. I enjoyed it this week. I mean, was it the best match? Absolutely not. But Jeff Jarrett came in, entertained, still went decent. I'm not gonna say he's. I mean, he wasn't out there fucking, like Michaels and Undertaker, who were, granted, not quite as old as Jarrett was now, but, still out there stealing shows in their older age when they were together. But he did a decent job. He helped... the guy that, Elias has been compared to since his debut, helped make him look like more of a star. Was it Okada, Omega, or Taker, and Michaels? Absolutely not. It wasn't any of those things. It wasn't, but for just kind of like, hey, here's a fun thing that happened, and here's a Hall of Famer giving back to a company and helping a new crop of stars. It was decent,
They're just kind of confused. Is he sticking around?
At that point, I hope not. Unless it's like kind of like a special occasion thing. But they had like a nice little, three little act structure to it. They had the Royal Rumble, they had the confrontation on Raw, and then this will be the blow up. So
it's nice to see that there's no lingering resentment now over that whole TNA thing.
Exactly.
Leo Rush got a match on Raw.
Woohoo! And against Finn Balor, no less.
Mm-hmm. So, good to see he's doing so good. Considering, it wasn't even hardly a year ago, he, started running his mouth on Twitter and, off a bunch of people. Kudos, man, you're still here.
It's a shame it's just kind of simply as a... one of those type of guys, but
you gotta admit he's on 205 Live and he is on Raw. It's not.
Yeah, and he adds a lot to the Bobby Lashley package. Bobby Lashley was just kind of, oh dear God, and then when he got Leo Rush, everything was better. So
I gotta remind anybody who's a little down on Lashley that the same thing could be said of Mr. Brock Lesnar when he doesn't have Heyman talking for him. It's like, oh gosh, Brock.
Both of these individuals do not talk like they look.
Yeah, it's true.
I'd say Lashley a little worse off than
A little
Lesnar.
worse, yeah.
But it reminds me of this, like, whenever the Heyman and Lesnar, like, invaded, like, the WWE corporate offices back in 2013. JC would always, make the joke, like, here's this big guy who's coming in there, and just, like, you hear, like, shut up, from Lesnar. So, yeah, they,
Yeah, we got the yelling at all.
yeah, that's just how you feel as auditions for every high school show. Huh?
Well.
Huh? I don't get it. Over my head. Over my head. So, yeah, they have a match. It wasn't the best.
Rush, of course.
It could have been a better match. That's the only thing disappointing in it was these two could have put on. And I get you're not going to have
a short Raw TV match.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they could have done better than what they got. But I understand.
Almost Rey Mysterio.
Very, very much so. Yes.
Yeah. Just throwing that out there. Those are on TV. So.
Moment of bliss with EC3, but then he doesn't even get a chance to talk to make time for the soon-to-be departing Dean Ambrose. This segment sucked.
Jokes, man.
This segment sucked. And if this is probably why Dean Ambrose wants to fucking leave.
Yep, I would say yep. Oh gosh, Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman teamed up and fought Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin. There was a disqualification because the illegal man was punching the legal man or some such nonsense. A rule that's never enforced, randomly enforced because heaven forbid someone pin someone, I guess.
It's like offensive pass interference in football. We enforce this rule when we want to. That was crap.
So
that was crap. I cannot get into this at all. I love Kurt Angle, but I think Kurt Angle needs to ride off into the sunset at WrestleMania. Just because I want to remember Kurt Angle the way I was brought up.
Yeah.
Very similar to Undertaker. Like after Undertaker and with Undertaker and Roman, I didn't like that match because, I want to remember Undertaker as a phenom, not a man. Now, that being said, I would not be against the Undertaker coming back for one more somebody who can help him.
Kurt has had one good match since back, and that was the Rousey mixed tag with Triple H and them. So, I mean, that was great. Everything since then has been, oh, please stop.
I mean, to be fair, the guy's 50 years old.
I know. And
with a bad neck and bad knees.
Hell. He's been through hell. I mean,
everything on him hurts.
The dude should not even be able to walk. So, I mean.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. We'll see what happens with Dean at Double or Nothing. Yeah, it's so I'm kind of thinking maybe if AJ still doesn't have an opponent for WrestleMania, you let Kurt have his sunset ride off with
that'd be fine.
With somebody who could definitely carry the load, and he's had good matches with maybe Brian, title versus career. I'd be down for that.
Yep.
Let Kurt have one more moment. And also, just as a guy who loves Kurt Angle, I would love to be able to see his last match. So.
Fair enough.
But that's just fan fiction for right now. It's time to talk about SmackDown. SmackDown.
A hotel.
Or the mall.
Or the So, playing into what everybody's already worried about with Charlotte being added to the WrestleMania main event, or heaven forbid, taking Becky's place, she comes out and say those exact things. Well, I know, but
I know, but I'm just saying
they're working you, man.
Fucking, they're wanting me. What are they doing? I don't know what those words
they're
are.
Conning you.
There you go.
All right.
But
they're working you up. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, she starts bragging about how she's not injured, so she could definitely take her place. And then Becky comes out to the crowd. And then Charlotte says, "You're stealing Roman Reigns' entrance." Which I laughed.
Fuck you, Charlotte. I used to like you, but I'm getting mad at you now.
And
the man steals nothing.
it was kind of fun to watch Triple H just tell Charlotte to go away because this wasn't her issue, and then
this is the thing that I want to say about this segment. It wasn't a bad segment. We'll keep talking about it here in a second. But if they're gonna use Charlotte in this manner and still expect us to treat her like an all-conquering heroine, you are fucking high, WWE.
not only was she acting nasty, she was wearing all black makeup and black. I mean, like,
Yeah.
she was screaming at the fans, "Please boo me.
Yeah.
Please boo
But,
me."
like, on top of that, it's like, once again, she's trying to take something away from Becky that Becky earned.
Mm-hmm.
So if they still think...
Rolling with that now.
If they still... I mean, like, they're also stupid enough to think that, my God, she's Charlotte! Fans are gonna love it! She's a Flair!
I strongly disagree with you.
We've seen Kane be booked as a hero after raping Lita and impregnating her.
This is true. How did Snitsky do that anyway?
So we'll put that out there. Kane raped Lita and was the hero. Lita was the villainess.
It was a week later.
Was the villainess for deciding, I don't want to be married to you who raped me.
You remember that differently than me. I swear she was the hero right up
Eventually,
until...
Kane kind of turned into a hero being associated with her, despite the fact that he was a rapist.
Really, that only happened in 1 week, though, when Snitsky did his thing, and then suddenly everybody was like, "Oh, that sucks for that guy," and then he just kept telling everybody how it wasn't his fault, and then we all got mad at him, and then all of a sudden we were rooting for Kane, and then it just kept happening. It's like, wait, did anybody remember how this all started? No. Apparently not.
Nonetheless, I'm saying they have some warped ideas on shit.
They do. Oh, definitely.
Some of them
Remember
work,
when
some
they
of them
tried
don't
to
work.
make Becky a villain,
Yeah.
and then finally stopped.
Yeah.
When they failed. So basically, then Triple H just said, all you gotta do is go get checked out, and then you can have your match. And then she mouthed off about Stephanie, and so then Triple H was like, well, I can be me too. And so then he
And
called
then the
her out
man
on possibility.
put that Hunter Hearst Helmsley bitch in his place. That's right.
She took out Stephanie and Triple H in
Fuck yeah.
2 days. I mean,
That was when she slapped Triple H. That was, that was a jump out of my fucking chair, fist pumping fucking moment for me. I'm not gonna lie, that was fucking awesome. Fucking love that shit. That is an I'm living vicariously through you moment. Unless it was in NXT, because I love Triple H in NXT. So, great segment. I thought that was better than the Stephanie segment, but that's also because Triple H, I feel, is more charismatic than Stephanie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm completely over Stephanie McMahon talking wrestling,
everybody is.
being on TV. Triple H, I can still sort of tolerate. Maybe I have the rose-colored glasses on. They're like, he's giving me NXT. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
his current role doesn't bother me at all. It's not overbearing. It's just
Right.
We need an authority figure that kind of seems balanced.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when Vince comes out, you're still kind of like, oh, the crazy guy.
Yeah.
And the old slow crazy guy, but still.
So we have the Good Brothers versus Nakarusev here. A tag team that should not exist.
Mm-hmm.
But,
A tag team that won the match,
of course, because established tag teams suck when you can put two singles guys together.
Yeah, I mean, the Usos could never beat, like, a team of someone like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan put together.
See, but I hate that mentality in all of
I was
wrestling.
being sarcastic because that did happen.
I know, but I'm
twice.
saying, like, it is just a mentality, though,
Mhm.
that the WWE has kept for a long time. Like,
Yeah,
there's some exceptions.
established teams, right? But as a
You know,
general rule,
like Batista and John Cena
Mhm.
just randomly winning the titles. Sometimes shit like that can work, but to me, when you see two random singles guys come together and just win,
Mhm.
it's telling me from a storyline perspective, hey, if you're on a tag team, you're weak.
Mm-hmm.
Because any two singles guys can just come in and beat you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, there's times when it has, like, you know, the random odd couple tag team has worked.
Mm-hmm.
Shawn Michaels, and this is going to sound like a fanboy, but hear me out. When Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin beat Bulldog and Owen, the story was kind of like, okay, these two guys are really good, and if they can only just get the fuck along, you know, they'll be unstoppable. But they don't get along because they're both two egomaniacs. The times they're able to, it works.
Right.
And then eventually the Bar, obviously. But I'm really, really hoping that that this, like, I really hope that this gets stopped, but it's not. I'm kind of sad now. Especially because Rusev was so over as a hero, and SmackDown needs some heroes right now.
Right.
And they're just like, no, we're turning you bad.
They need a hero.
Awesome.
And then
I actually wore this Cody shirt to meet Cody at StarCast.
You say that, and it makes me think of that song, and then I just think of Cassius Ohno. I don't know why.
Oh no!
Oh no!
All right, let's
Mustafa
continue.
Ali versus Randy Orton.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was the most I've cared about Randy Orton in quite some time. But unfortunately, Randy Orton won. Fooey on that shit. But
And then Samoa from out of nowhere choked out.
I'm kind of thinking, I don't like, you know, just the big multi-man wackiness, but Joe and Mustafa and a bunch of just guys you need to get on the card in the crazy multi-man U.S. title ladder match, I'd be all for that. Finally at least get Mustafa and fucking, if Joe can hold out to WrestleMania, get him on the fucking card this year.
Right. No kidding. Yeah, that's one of the two things I'm most excited to see at the Elimination Chamber is the
Not yet.
Championship match.
He's still got business in NXT, Eric. He's still got business in NXT, I believe. I catch his drift, but I'm saying
I don't know. I just don't want him up there right now.
not right now. It's too convoluted. He'd get lost in the shuffle. He's still also got business in NXT, I feel. Much like Gargano.
Gosh.
Gargano and the Undisputed Era, they still got business to take care of in NXT.
Yeah, Aleister Black, on the other hand.
Aleister Black's ready. Ciampa's ready, I think.
He is, but I mean that.
I don't want him to come up and get
There's
ruined.
no chapter for that Gargano thing, so.
Yeah.
Let's see. Promos galore.
Interview
Daniel
segments.
Bryan. Yes, I suppose so. Interview segments. Lots of talking. Not a lot of grappling.
Lots of Daniel Bryan telling us we're bad people.
Yes, Daniel Bryan, congratulating Washington for being enlightened and telling the rest of us that we suck. A lot of that, and then, let's see, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles responding about how they're going to win, basically, and he's full of it.
Not
standard.
Not terrible, but very by the numbers.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we got another week yet for the Chamber, so, what do you want? Another qualifying match, not a qualifying match, a showcase of the three teams from the SmackDown side for the women's tag titles fighting each other. Just to show you who they are, because they kind of just announced them.
And they're all kind of thrown together like Naomi and...
Well, that's not true.
Well, not all of them, but that one's thrown together.
Only the good guy team is thrown together.
Yeah.
The two villain acts have been teamed.
But it's kind of like... When I first saw that, I was just kind of like, Naomi and Carmella, we ain't got anything for you. Go be a tag team. Women are now going to have the same shit the men go through. Hey, I can't think of anything for you. You guys are a fucking tag team now. Enjoy that shit. All right, cool.
There's at least 2 viable tag teams in NXT right now, too. If they could travel that.
Yep.
There's the Sky Pirates and I guess just call them the Horsewomen. Shakira and Duke. They actually fought each other the other week on NXT. And I was like, oh, there's 2 female tag teams right there.
those belts are gonna have to. Those belts
know,
are gonna
I mean,
have to travel.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish the fucking
I don't know why they didn't put the. Well, I mean, it's
men's tag team belts,
but I don't know why they didn't
traveled.
do instead of 3 from Raw, 3 from SmackDown. Why not do 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown, and 2 from NXT? You know, at the Chamber.
Yeah, you can
That'd be
absolutely
better.
say that, but it works well for his gimmick being hideous. So there's that.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
Like I said, I maybe not the him.
Did
but
you
I-
know that PETA was all excited?
That's what I said. Yeah. There's like that. Remember, we go back to like Peter's like there's like this big section of the internet saying like Daniel Bryan is the biggest hero because people that actually eat meat deserve to be treated like shit, which is why he needed to do the CM Punk. Hey, you guys too, fuck y'all as well. But
That's so
instead,
funny.
now, like he's actually being heralded as a hero from the actual vegan
Yeah.
community and PETA because they think, yeah, if you eat meat, you deserve to be treated like shit.
Talk about freaking marks, dude. I mean.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, let's see. So anyway, they had a match. I don't even remember who won. Shoot. It really stuck with me.
Yep. Yeah, it did.
Oh, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville won.
Woo!
It was basically
I don't
a lot of the match was focused around the continuing feud of Naomi and.
I could not get
Mandy
into this.
Rose. I understand.
This was kind of Jeff Hardy, Daniel Bryan. This was good though.
I will say the Mandy Rose Naomi feud is more interesting to me than the Randy Orton Jeff Hardy feud from last year. Sorry, I just wasn't into that at all. So
I only saw
Jeff Hardy fought Daniel Bryan. It was non-titled, but hey,
It was good.
Yeah, I mean,
they were good the last time they fought on
Jeff
SmackDown
Hardy, exactly.
in essentially a dream match for me.
mhm. When they were both good guys.
Double C, the worst, Eric, the worst kept secret in here in the Athletic Geek universe, as far as names. He pitched possibly having Jeff win the Royal Rumble. Didn't quite work out that way, but Jeff and Bryan at WrestleMania, with kind of the two free spirits, but one being a dick and one not being a dick, I'd be down for that.
I could see it, but I feel like
I've mentioned this. I said I think if AJ or Jeff win. Jeff will make the jokes about it being a hemp belt, but I think like they need to like pop like the wooden plates off and then like have like a barbecue. Like we got the wood chips here. We're smoking a hog. I'm having a barbecue with my kids.
Right.
Or like show like Jeff at the Hardy compound, like smoking a hog with the old WWE title. That'd be awesome.
Or if they don't want to do that, they could turn it into rope or something.
There's something.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, drug use and.
No, I'm saying you get rid of the hemp, but he's like burning the wood.
No, yeah.
We're burning the wood to like help cook his meat for his barbecue.
Oh, just get rid of him. I got you. Yeah, totally.
And then just like have Daniel Bryan be like just off it like, no, that's ridiculous. That's a beautiful belt. It'd be awesome. Just as it would be, feeding Daniel Bryan like meat, similar to Raven pouring beer down CM Punk's throat.
Yeah. Still missed an opportunity with that Royal Rumble burger. But
Yeah.
maybe
even with Eric, we missed an opportunity. If
Oh man,
I know that would have been so awesome. I would have put it on the site. But now it is time to talk about.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Let's hear. I'm going to call in a friend here, Mr. Charles in charge. Maybe. And we're going to talk about what just transpired. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yeah. Can everybody on the screen hear him?
Hey, everybody.
Hello. I've named you Charles in charge.
Appreciate the reference.
Okay.
Normally they go for like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something like that. I always prefer the deep cuts, so works for me.
Okay. That was just, if you want something different, this is just, we try to protect identities on this here program.
I like it.
Charles in charge of this. All right. That's Jedi Jason Krieger, Charles in charge of the Athletic Geek. Now, Jedi here has children, as if you see at the end of every episode of this.
Drive that point home.
So, And also one of his children broke his TV, so recently.
It's true.
So he was not able to watch the press conference regarding Double or Nothing.
It was mostly just bedtime. I could have watched it on my phone, I'm sure.
My story was better, but sure.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real, yeah.
Go to
So-
bed, go to bed.
So, but me and Charles here, we did watch it, and it was well, the surprises, except for a couple, were stuff that I thought was happening, but it's still really epic. And let's go through that.
That's a good way to put it. There wasn't anything too surprising, but it was basically the things they did announce was basically everything they needed to do right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, much better than the All-In press conference. I will say that much. Because
The original one, or the one from the one from last month.
the one from when tickets went on sale for All-In.
Oh yeah, much better.
Like that one, I remember watching that and kind of thinking, and I mean, I was wrong, and I'll happily eat crow on this one. Watching that and being like, oh, okay, that's it. That's it. This ain't gonna sell out now. And then
No,
lo and behold,
I
sells
felt
out.
the exact same way. Like I was watching the stream and being like, "There's only like 1,000 people watching this. I'm not gonna bother getting my ticket right away. I'll wait till close to the card." And then like 45 minutes later, I sit back down and it's like, "Oh, everything's sold out."
Where'd you go get your ticket then?
StubHub.
Okay, cool. That's
Or like a lot more.
it's a lifesaver. It got me Madison Square Garden and WrestleMania tickets. I still was gonna buy my tickets because I really wanted front row, and I remember I did like the whole thing wrong on like my tablet because like I didn't click on best available. I just kept clicking on front row and said like kept putting me in the online waiting room, and I didn't get it. And then I remember waiting for a long time, and then got the seats I got, and then like I was mad. Like took a day off work, get these average fucking seats. Fucking could just cut these later, waste a fucking day, and I'm like pissy about it. And then like not long after my like little internal temper tantrum, I see Cody talk about how it's sold out. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm happy now. I'm happy I got what I got. That's cool, man. I love this. And the website crashed again this year apparently, but I can't go to that one, unfortunately. Y'all that go, have fun. But let's start talking about this here press conference.
Yeah, I guess I'll start from the top.
Yep, we'll put this in. And Jedi here is going to learn. Like,
That's right.
yeah, reactions you see from him are going to be legit reactions. So it's the wrestling show and it's a reaction video. So
That's right, all in one.
two birds, one stone here. Let's go.
I'll admit, I was at a friend's house, so I was watching this on my phone at a friend's house, and there were parts where like I turned down the audio.
Right.
But I got like mainly the gist of everything. But I did missed a little bit of that opening, so if you want to start us off.
Well, the opening, you know, is pretty much. I don't even like. This is where I'm going to fail as a wrestling YouTuber. I don't know who the one guy was there, but I knew Conrad and Excalibur, and they were there. So.
Yeah, did they say like anybody's role yet? Like regarding, for example, like Excalibur, have they said, oh, is he like a commentator for AEW or anything like that?
That I don't recall. I'm going to assume so because, you know, everybody else they had for All In have, like, commitments.
Yeah, I'm just hoping...
Except for Excalibur.
I'm just hoping they don't add Conrad to the commentary team.
I don't mind Conrad, but he can keep his Alabama fandom, you know, out of my commentary, please.
Pretty much. I mean, his podcasts are fine. I just don't know how to do calling a wrestling show.
As someone who's done commentary before, it's hard.
It is.
Yes.
I was struggling just with the Kevin Kelly thing at Starcast.
Oh, and you can also listen to me do commentary this Saturday. Go to Facebook, you know, MMWA on Facebook. Got a show. Come on out if you're in the St. Louis area. There's a free plug.
Nice.
Anyway. Conrad should talk more Alabama. No, he should not. No, he shouldn't. As anybody who... It's not even like... I don't even hate Alabama. I just kind of get tired of hearing Roll Tide. Anyway...
I'll take that over the Blue Chew advertisements.
Yeah. Oh, and it's always, we're tangenting off on a bunch of now. You ever like notice on all of Bischoff's podcasts with him, it's just always like the same story, you know. We were talking about Blue Chew. Yeah, you know, had a real busy weekend. Me and the missus said, you know, hey, you got a couple minutes, so I popped my Blue Chew and got with my wife. That's every fucking show. But they're all out there. They're kind of hyping up everything, hyping up tickets going on sale, and then MJF comes out.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see this part.
So, Anti-Grand SCU, you can fucking drive off a cliff. That's nothing is greater than SCU. Anyway.
It's a good thing there's visuals here, because people will be like, why is he...
This
is a podcast?
But anyway,
This would be horrible.
MJF comes out and he's doing MJF shit. I like MJF. I think he's really, really good at being a villain. Oh, that's another thing.
I really like what they're doing on BTE with him and Cody.
Yeah. Another thing, no insider terms here, in case, just a reminder. Yeah, we use bad guy and villain and hero and things like that on this here show.
Duly noted.
Or baddie. You can use that one. That one's fun. Baddie's fun.
We've done that one?
We've done that one. Yeah, last week. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot, and I enjoy what they're doing with, you know, everybody. I'm thinking he's like Mr. Salt of the Earth, but he's like a prick. But I just kind of hope they don't. I have a fear that they're going to force feed him. Because he's kind of... Not everybody's quite taken to him just yet, and, like, he's doing a bunch of stuff, so... Kind of worried. That's my one concern with MJF, is I feel like they're going to, you know, use him and too much stuff too quickly, and it might turn people off in the wrong way. But it was still a decent segment, and he calls Conrad fat. So, that happened.
Anyway, but I think with MJF, the issue is with AEW, they're going to need some strong heels right off the get-go.
What? What's a heel? I don't know what those are.
Oh, I feel like an ass right now.
You're good. I did it last week. It's all good.
Yeah, we're always doing that.
Well, but, you know, they're going to need some good villains on the show.
Yeah.
There we are. And you can't really use Cody, because, like, you know...
Everyone's going to love Cody.
Yeah, because he's like the one of 10 vice presidents AEW currently has right now.
Oh, and we'll get more to that later.
Yeah, so like, unless they bring in Marty and he kind of does this whole like abandoning the elite thing, you're gonna need some strong heels, and he already's kind of off the get-go, kind of, and MJF's already off the get-go, kind of being a dick.
Right.
Does that work? I just call them dicks.
Yeah. Dicks work. Dicks work.
That's not an
Dicks. There's gonna be fucking. That's gonna be the one line that's gonna be like spliced off of this fucking thing. Is just me saying
right.
"dicks work." That's gonna be fun. So they do that. Next, I actually need like a recap because I was just like getting excited. I need to actually look it up. Fuck, I'm a failure tonight. But yeah, the whole thing starts, and we get what the fuck? Come on. Double or Nothing, Las Vegas. Oh, we have a recap here. All right, yes, we do. Yay! Being alive is awesome.
I'm literally sitting over here Googling MGF.
All right, well...
MGF, because I'm not familiar with it.
All right, okay, first thing, and I almost... I do have to admit that there was some audio issues during this. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Maybe one or two, but not as much as the press conference from last month.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely.
Flip Gordon just re-signed with...
Flip Gordon's still in ROH.
Yeah, he just
Eric.
re-signed with them.
Yeah, I think Flip might be in ROH for the long haul. We will see.
He signed a 2-year deal last year, so it's kind of stuck there.
Scroll is more likely.
If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm looking at the comments on the stream. So, yeah, so we have Conrad introduces Sunny Kiss. I'm not super familiar with him. I looked him up, and apparently he was on Lucha Underground, and I'm far behind on Lucha Underground, so...
Same, haven't seen anything this season. I heard Brian Zane's put him over. He said some things about him, or had him feature on his channel, I think. But this isn't.
I've never seen his work.
This guy as well.
He's done some Mexico work. I mean, it was. I'm not gonna judge the segment because I don't know him well enough to. The interview he gave was very somewhat generic. Kind of the I'm gonna be there, steal the show, rah rah. I'm gonna say judgment.
I know they are going like deep into the indies. I believe Cody said in an interview a few weeks ago that basically once they announced AEW, pretty much all the indie promoters he's worked with like the last 2 years or so has just been pretty much sliding in those DMs. And pretty much telling, just pretty much putting over, hey, you should use this guy, you should use this guy. And Cody's just basically been, looking at all these guys and, not just going for, the quote-unquote hottest free agents.
Right. And when we learn more, maybe even another time, we might be able to do a stream about what we would do with AEW. But that might be a fun thing to do another time. But, yeah.
And I think, they're wanting to show they're clearly going for a very diverse roster in different ways. So I think this was a good place to probably introduce them.
Right. And, I'm all about that. I don't care who you are, what you are. As long as you wrestle well, I'll be a fan. So that's what I, that's what I hope to see with Sonny Kiss is just if he can impress me in the ring, that's all I care about.
Agreed.
Next part, Cody comes to the stage. Cody's the only one, and I will say this is pretty interesting. Cody is the only one of these guys that kind of came out that did not have kind of a confrontation leading to a match. He introduced...
Have you watched anything on his Nightmare Family channel or whatever?
I have not seen episode 2 yet, so if you want to inform me, go right ahead. I'm not going to be offended.
Okay, well, they're basically doing the same thing where they're kind of looking at other people to hire and kind of doing segments on a few different wrestlers. And then at the end of it, they do a bit where, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's like, hey, Cody. And he says somebody's name, but it's bleeped out. They're like, is on the phone. And they're like, is this a business or a personal call? And then they're like, well, you don't have a match yet. So that could just be a teaser, but they are doing kind of at least on his channel, kind of a slow build on who Cody's opponent will be.
Yeah.
There's a good chance they might not even know yet.
Yeah, but I thought that was, he was the only one that did that. He introduced the AAA Cruiserweight Champion, Sammy... Guevara, thank you. I'm going to butcher Hispanic names. I apologize. And, yeah. Kind of got a generic promo from him. But, we've got a hot young talent from AAA. He did announce, and I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself here, the working agreement with AAA. Or was that him, or was that the Bucks?
I think it was the Bucks. I believe it was, or whoever brought out, whoever brought out Sammy.
Oh, that was, Cody announced his partnership with AAA. I was watching this and getting excited about shit, so, yeah. Forgive me for that. That's going to be good for the company. It's fine. It's the, first of 2 companies they'll be working with, AAA. Well, Pentagon, Phoenix, and, they got a lot of great talent in AAA, and then, they have OWE out of China. So we'll get to that later, but AAA is a big deal for AEW.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My big question is AAA going to keep working with Impact?
Right.
That's something that I'm curious to see what becomes of that.
Well, I believe Pentagon and Phoenix will still be doing Impact for the time being.
Right.
So I think they're taking slow with a lot of things. I know, like, we were off the phone talking about the fact there's not really an official, Japan promotion announcement yet.
Which that could be. That
you
could.
don't want to get too rush in and get locked in with a promotion too soon. When there's probably.
And AAA and CMLL ain't gonna work with them. So AAA, who helped them out a lot for All In, probably just said, "Hey, let's go with it." But yeah, I agree. Because there's still stuff that we're not completely sure about when it comes to Japan yet. But yeah, it was a generic promo. I mean, like, again, I'm not gonna mock them, but it was just kind of the generic. Let me show you what I can do. I'm gonna steal the show kind of thing. But
Yeah, granted, with all these people that don't have matches yet, they don't really have much they can talk about.
Exactly.
Things,
But now we're going to come to the first match that has been announced. And the segment that led to that, Hangman Page comes out next, and he's wearing his street clothes, and he's not in full gear because of the storyline they're doing on BTE, where they claim that Hangman Page just is, needs to work out more to get in better shape to be in full gear. Yeah, that's it.
I just love where they're like, where they're like, do some gear like the Assassins.
Oh, well, it made me laugh, but I remember just kind of, I've said, off the show, I said, like, if Hangman looks bad like that, God, I'm awful.
Right. I know, I feel the same way, but I think it's good continuity going from, like, from the whole Joey Ryan penis thing to going into Pac's body. I just like you have this, you pretty much have, like, this, tall, good-looking, athletic Hangman Page, but basically just being insecure of every other guy out there and possibly murdering them.
Possibly murdering them. Yep. Yeah. Poor Hangman Page is just poor Hangman Page is just never gonna, he's just never gonna get the credit he deserves. But he called out Pac, and Pac showed up via a pre-recorded interview and interrupted him. Challenged him to a match. Pac's interview was very good. Both guys did well, but Pac was just on a different level.
And it's interesting, because, like, apparently before going to WWE, Pac, like, hardly ever cut promos, just being, like, so camera shy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm happy to say that I've met Pac once in a little town about an hour away from about 45 minutes away from my house, at our very, very local promotion that we never thought in our wildest dreams would bring in a guy like Pac.
Right.
But they did. And he wrestled El Generico, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yes. And then he didn't have his table. He didn't have his table set up, so we just had to camp out and hope to meet him. And he did. He was cool. And what was funny was I'm wearing the hat that I bought from Matt Cross. And Matt Cross was a surprise on that show, and I mentioned that show to him, and he actually remembered. So, but tangent aside, the ADD is hard tonight. We got Pac and Hangman for Double or Nothing, and I am very excited about this match.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a good match. Two really different styles, so I think they're gonna gel very well together.
Oh yeah, and it's just I think you're going to really get to, at least in the United States, for the first time since he's been released, really get to see what Pac can do. Because he got that WWE ceiling on him. And this might be, as good as Hangman Page is, and I like Hangman a lot, and he had a really good match with Joey Janela All In. This might be kind of the go-to point where we say, hey, this is where Hangman became a superstar. It could be this match.
I think he's been like on that kind of bridge for a while now.
Right.
We're going to see that in the next, probably in this match and probably in the year to just because I think long term, Hangman's who they have in mind to kind of making the top guy in the company.
Right. Eventually. I think.
Yeah, like you're bringing them in with Jericho and other people. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't listened.
Don't want to spoil it, but it's probably like the worst kept spoiler in pro wrestling at this point. But
Well, I can see like in a year or two that he'll kind of take their place once their deals run out.
right. Next up, we have the Young Bucks, and they mentioned that they're going to make tag team wrestling a priority in the main event, and I'd really be on board with this, making the tag belts. I kind of ranted on this a little bit, during the SmackDown recap, but coming full circle now, actually making it seem like the tag belts are just as important as the potential world belt. They go out there, talk about tag team wrestling being the main event, and then they introduce Chucky T and Trent Beretta, the new acquisitions that have defected from Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So,
as of this past weekend.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm a little disappointed to hear that, but yeah, it's.
Let's see. I saw their second to last New Japan show on a New Japan show with no New Japan wrestlers or Japan wrestlers at all.
You went to Ring of Honor with a lion mark.
Yeah, exactly.
You went to Ring of Honor with a lion mark. They blamed Donald Trump when actually it was their own fuck up. And that's not me standing up. That's not me standing up for Donald Trump at all. It's just me stating facts. that is the timeline of events.
I think there's some. I've mentioned this to you probably. I think there were some local promoters in this area that kind of helped fuck it up. But really, New Japan should have kind of done their research on who to work with and who not to. You know what I mean?
Or just, I don't know, maybe not do this tour while a much, much better tour is going on in New Japan right now.
Yeah, that would have been the best answer.
Yeah. Hey, we'll do this tour next month.
With people that actually...
Well,
because here's the thing, when I was there, I can't remember if I told you this, but who got the biggest pop that night when I was there? Tiger Hattori. Granted, it was a surprise. No one even knew he was going to be there. But then he came out for like halfway through the show.
And Shibata was
standing. People knew about Shibata, so people were like, he got a big pop too. But there was a standing ovation and Tiger chant for Hattori. So if they lost their shit that much for the ref, could you imagine if they had any mid-carder from New Japan?
Yeah. Just imagine or just imagine if they could go around and you had Tanahashi or Naito or Okada.
Yeah.
But there you go. The best friends are here, and then Phoenix and Pentagon came out and beat the shit out of the Young Bucks.
Well, that whole time I was thinking, throw him in the pool, throw him in the pool, throw him in the pool.
Yeah. Does it make me an awful person that I was hoping that the pool segment came with the next segment? Does that make me a shallow guy? Shallow pool humor.
Oh.
But
that's fair.
Yeah.
Well,
Granted, the whole layout did give me a WCW spring break Nitro party vibe, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, but
then it just ends with Shane McMahon coming out saying the contract says McMahon, but no.
Yeah, nobody went in the pool that night, and I'm gonna give you a slight spoiler warning: nobody went in the pool this night. But next up, we have Brandy Rhodes come out and mention some of the women's signings. No disrespect intended to these ladies, but I've heard of one, and that was Aja Kong, because she's a legend.
That's going to be pretty cool, though.
Yep. This young lady named Kylie Ray came out, and I'll give her credit. She had a very, very cool personality. She was very charismatic. I'm interested to check her out, and not in a perverted way. I'm interested to see her wrestle, you jerks. But Yeah, go ahead. Go on. I'll apologize for that.
No, I was just saying I caught like the least of this out of anything, so I'll let you take
They
the lead
they
on
had
this one.
this. They had Hans Kylie Ray. Brian introduced this other lady named Nyla Rose, and they got in each other's faces, and it was broken up, and that was that. It, Kylie Ray seemed like she was cool. She seemed kind of charismatic. She seemed a little nervous, but she kind of had this, she was kind of like, I had like a Bailey personality where like you're kind of just, Bailey in NXT where you're just kind of like drawn to her. But, yeah, it was kind of a weak segment, but again, like, in all of like the independent women that I like was really super into, well, they're all signed by WWE now. With the exception of Mischief. They're all in WWE
Yeah.
in one capacity or another. Sarah Del Rey's a trainer.
That's true.
The
The trainer.
I will say that it looks like they're wanting to really get like the Joshi stars in, and that's probably where
That is cool.
That would be a good idea.
That'd be a good idea. What is Awesome Calm doing right now? Get her on the fucking roster.
Good question.
I'm serious.
See, I think you'll have to contact Glow for that.
Yeah, right.
Hey, next partnership right there.
Money, I mean.
Next partnership. Excalibur introduces SCU, and they did the worst town I've ever been in catchphrase. And they mention if you go there, they're going to have an after party, which I'm not going to be able to go to Double or Nothing, so that kind of means fuck all to me. But y'all that are going to get to go to their party, have fun. But then they introduced the gentleman from OWE, the CEO, the vice president, and Japanese legend Shima. And OWE, for those that don't know about it, it's a promotion that Shima started in China. Shima was a legendary Dragon Gate wrestler in Japan, and he's started a promotion in China. They kind of gave, the generic who they are speech and everything, but then Christopher Daniels asked Shima to find two of his best from OWE to take on SCU in a 6-man tag match. So, we'll get some factions,
I know it
bro.
doesn't sound like much right now, but I think this could be a big deal for them down the road, especially if they could end up getting TV somehow in China.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's not easy to get TV in China, from what I've heard on the Eric Bischoff podcast. So that'd be really.
I think WWE just has now started getting like a presence there, so it's not like they have like decades and decades of like the market there. So it's almost like.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, so it's like almost probably closer to fair game there than it is in some other parts of the country, in other countries.
Right. Well, this just reminded me of a story I used to like on a message board. There was a girl from India I talked to, and this was way back in like 03, 04. And she would mention that she would get WWE, but it was so far behind the TV that like it was like a month behind. So like she already knew what would happen at the pay-per-view before, it would even...
Before she even saw the
Before she even saw, yeah, exactly. So that might be... but if stuff like that can be avoided for China, that's cool. And then we come...
But the 6-man is a good idea, just because I feel like myself and probably a lot of people mainly remember... Shima from like all the Ring of Honor 6-man Dragon Gate matches that they would do like every Mania weekend for a while.
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen some of Shima's work, and I'd like to see Shima as a single star as well with some of the other talent on the roster, including Chris Jericho, and we'll just move on to the next segment here. Conrad, that other fella, were saying they had one more announcement, and the fans already knew. Big Kenny interrupted, and here came Kenny Omega, who was introduced as the executive vice president of AEW.
I will say I like they did do the countdown going from the BTE story where he couldn't find his phone, but they but they had the countdown on it for
Yes.
like his contract, and then it went to in Kenny fashion, it had the Smash Bros. Like graphic.
I marked out for that.
Yes.
So, watched that. He came to the podium and gave a speech about, he always want to try to explain what it meant to change the world, but it's easier just to show them. And you think you're getting a happy, another generic little speech, but then Chris Jericho comes out, and they have a pull apart, and Jericho loses his hat, and Kenny Omega puts it on, and Kenny Omega tries to say his catchphrase, but there was some mic problems, and he ends it with goodbye and good night, and he walks around slapping hands, almost falls into the pool, but doesn't. And, the most obvious surprise in wrestling history is official now. We have Kenny Omega in AEW, and, well, I have mixed emotions about it. On one hand, I'm happy and relieved because
it's not WWE.
I think the stream is off.
Is it? You, like, literally just got that comment.
Yep. Hang on. Hold on. Gotta love live. I hope it was still recording me. Yep, we're back. All right.
We good?
Yeah, it's gotta love battery problems. So I don't know how much of this got cut off, but
Surely not too
Kenny Omega. Yeah, Kenny Omega's there. In case you missed on this, I have.
It's official.
It's official. Here's my mixed emotions. On one hand, I'm happy because he's not going to WWE to be ruined. He's not going to WWE to be in bed. Not that I thought they'd be that stupid, but it is the WWE.
Yeah. Maybe not for the NXT team.
Yeah, exactly. So on that end of things, I am relieved. On the flip side of things, I'm kind of concerned because I did want him to stay with New Japan in some capacity. I did kind of want to see him WrestleMania weekend.
Right.
And I am wondering if, what is this going to mean for wrestling as a whole, There's still question marks. There's still some big question marks. And, I'm happy that he's going to be more than likely used in a respectable manner, and I think the rematch with Jericho and Omega will draw the fans in because you got Jericho, who's got name recognition, and then you have Omega, which more people are going to have access to AEW than New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's the right call to headline with this show, or with this match for the show, just because it's already it's a rematch from last year, so you don't need to do too much storyline. Everybody's already hyped for it.
I'd rather see Omega and Shima, but, maybe I'll get it eventually.
I think we'll get there eventually.
Eventually. Or Omega and Pac. But, we'll get there. Kenny Omega, to, the casual viewing audience, is this guy who has been hyped up, and they probably haven't seen a whole hell of a lot of because... Yeah. Because a lot of them don't have time to go to New Japan World, and they don't want to they don't want to pay for something that they don't know what it is.
And then they're like, wait, I can't pull it up on my Roku or my